You ever walk through a quiet forest and feel like you're not quite alone? Or stand in an old temple and just sense the weight of centuries? Well, we're about to pull back the curtain on a world that's absolutely humming with gods, ghosts, and heroes. We're diving deep into the mythic tapestry of Japan.
Look, these are the big questions, right? The ones every single culture on Earth has wrestled with. For thousands of years, Japanese mythology has offered its own incredible set of answers, not in some single stuffy book, but in a huge, living, breathing collection of stories. And together, we're going to journey right into the heart of them.
And here's the thing you've got to get. These are not just fairy tales. For the people who create and live by them, myths are the absolute bedrock of reality. They explain everything, from how the islands were literally formed to the very character of the people. We're about to get into the stories that make up the cultural DNA of Japan.
Okay, but before we meet all the gods and monsters, we kind of need to understand the spiritual loom that all these stories are woven on. I mean, what are the core beliefs that give these myths so much power and meaning in the first place?
So, at its heart, you've got two main spiritual pillars. First up is Shinto. It's the native belief system, and its name literally means the way of the ancestral gods, or kami. It's all about this deep respect for the divine spirits found in nature, in the trees, the mountains, everywhere, and in your own ancestors. And then, coming over from the mainland, you have Buddhism, which offers this whole other path to enlightenment by learning to end the suffering that our own desires cause.
But wait, there's more. You also have Taoism, which adds this idea of just accepting the natural flow of the universe, the way, and this constant dance between opposing forces, yin and yang. Now these three, plus other philosophies, they don't fight each other. They actually blend together, creating this incredibly unique and serene spiritual landscape. It's a kind of peace you can almost feel when you look at a place like the Keitakuin Garden.
And now, our story begins. Let's wind the clock all the way back to the very beginning, to this time of, primordial chaos, before Japan even existed as a place, when the gods themselves looked down on a world that was just formless mush.
Just try to picture that for a second. The sky and the earth aren't totally separate. They're connected by this one incredible floating bridge in the heavens. And it's from right there, on that bridge, that the very first gods started the massive job of creating the world, by stirring the chaos below with a jeweled spear. And as they lifted the spear, droplets fell from its tip, and those drops hardened to become the very first piece of land. Now, this isn't just a cool geology story. It's a foundational belief of the Shinto religion, and, this is crucial, it created a direct, divine bloodline for the ruling Yamato clan, connecting the emperor all the way back to the gods who literally made the world.
So the land is formed, but it wasn't an empty stage. Oh no. The world was then filled, just bursting at the seams, with this unbelievable variety of spirits, gods, and demons. The world was alive, teeming with unseen beings in every rock, every river, every single shadow.
Now, to really get this world, you have to understand the idea of kami. See, in Shinto, divinity isn't some old man on a cloud far away. A kami could be the spirit of a great ancestor, sure, but it could also be the divine essence of a huge mountain, a powerful river, or even just the rain falling outside. The whole world is electric with gods.
And this divine world gets really specific, and sometimes wonderfully weird. Let's do a quick tour of some of these spirits, or yokai. First, hiding in the rivers, you've got the kappa. It's this tricky water demon with a bowl-shaped head that holds its life force. And get this, they're obsessed with cucumbers and challenging people to sumo wrestling. Seriously.
Okay, from the rivers, let's head up into the mountains. This is the home of the Tengu. They're these powerful bird-like spirits, sometimes a little arrogant, and they are legendary masters of the sword in martial arts. Every now and then, they'll even teach their secrets to a human they deem worthy.
And then you have the famous Oni. These are the classic demons of Japanese folklore. Big, hulking, horned monsters carrying huge iron clubs. They're the bad guys in so many stories, representing disaster and sickness. And they're so famous that every spring, people literally throw beans to chase them out of their houses, shouting, "Demons out! Good fortune in!"
But not all spirits are just mischievous or powerful bad guys. Some are truly terrifying cautionary tales. Take the Jikininki. These are the horrifying reincarnations of greedy priests who are cursed in the afterlife to have this bottomless hunger for human corpses. Yikes.
So altogether, this incredible cast of characters shows you a world where people are never really alone, but are constantly surrounded by this vibrant, powerful, and often dangerous unseen realm.
Okay, so we've gone from the cosmic to the creepy. Let's zoom in now down to the human level. Because these myths are also packed with stories about amazing heroes and just regular people, and their tales really show us what makes the human heart tick, for better or for worse.
You can't talk about Japanese heroes without talking about Momotaro, the peach boy. It's a classic hero's journey. He's born from a giant peach, yes really, to an old childless couple. He grows up strong and good. At 15, he sets off to defeat the demons on Devil's Island. But here's the cool part. He doesn't just go in swinging. He builds a team by sharing his food and earns the loyalty of a dog, a monkey, and a pheasant. His victory isn't just about his own strength. It's about leadership and compassion.
A lot of other stories are basically powerful moral lessons, and you can often see Buddhist ideas woven right into them. They show in really vivid ways how being kind pays off and how being jealous just leads to disaster.
Take the story of the man who made trees bloom. You've got this sweet, kind old couple whose dog can magically dig up treasure. But of course, their good luck makes their greedy neighbor incredibly jealous. And the story takes a really dark turn right here. Consumed by envy when the dog finds nothing for him, the neighbor does something truly awful.
But the story's not over. The kind man finds that the ashes of his beloved dog have a new magic. They can make dead trees burst into bloom. The jealous neighbor, naturally, steals the ashes to try and copy the magic for himself. But because his heart is rotten, instead of beautiful flowers, the ashes just create a cloud of choking dust that blinds a local lord. The neighbor gets severely punished, and the moral is just crystal clear. So, wow. We have journeyed from the literal creation of the world all the way down to the struggles inside the human heart. But the most amazing part is that these stories are not just dusty old relics. They are a living, breathing part of Japan right now. You can see them in festivals, in symbols, everywhere. I mean, just think about the Bon Festival, when people light huge bonfires to guide the spirits of their ancestors back home. Or the carp-shaped flags you see flying on Children's Day, which symbolize the strength to swim upstream against the current. Even the 16-petal chrysanthemum, the emblem of the emperor that connects directly back to the sun goddess from the creation myths. The ancient world is still right here.
And that kind of leaves us with one last thing to think about. Japanese mythology is this beautiful, complex window into one culture's soul. But it also kind of holds up a mirror to our own. What are the myths, the stories we take for granted as true that shape our own holidays, our symbols, our whole way of seeing the world? The stories are always there if you just know how to look.